Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Bishop. It's the Tier 5 British SPG, and this one's located on the south spawn of Ruinberg under the command of Ohforfoxache. Yes, it's him again, the one with a funny name. And he's playing the Bishop, which is basically a Valentine tank with an artillery gun on top inside a casement. Now, it's a 4.5-inch howitzer capable of alpha damage of 450 hit points. And you can see one mark on the barrel, so he obviously plays it quite a bit. And the skin for this vehicle is kindly provided by Sir Rusty. You see Union flag with the What Arty Noobs logo underneath. It says Wrath of Heaven on it. Now, the Bishop is a short-range Arty. It's short range actually, mostly because the British, when they built it, and they built 80 to 100 of these, depending on whose sources you believe, actually put the gun at the wrong elevation. It could only elevate 15 degrees, which actually shortened the range. And in order to increase the range, the British Army would normally park it on a slope pointing upwards, so the gun could fire much further. Okay, he's found a firing position. He's now extending his aim to look for the enemy. One of the good things about this gun is it's got a very high trajectory, which means you're looking down on the target because the shell is going to come down on top of them very, very hard. He fires around at the IKB and unfortunately just misses. Now the reload speed is also fairly quick. It's about 10 to 12 seconds, I believe. Round out on the OI. Gets a hit for 164 hit points. And Churchill's going to be facing a lot of trouble in a second unless we help. Get another hit for only 7 this time though. But the good thing is, because there's very little splash, we can fire at enemy tanks when they are face to face with our guys. AT2, British Tier 5 tank destroyer. Load up a shot, round out, looks good. Yes it is, 115. It's a T14 there as well. Get a shot into him. Lining up one. Round out, good. Yes it is, 175 hit points off him. You can see how the Bishop is capable of racking up a lot of damage on the enemy. Okay, now trying to go for that T14. No, just missing him. Now, one of the unusual things about the Bishop, which you may not, or you may realise, is that on the British tech tree, the Sexton is the Tier 3 British SPG, but it was actually the Sexton that replaced the Bishop in the British Armed Forces. The Sextons were made in Canada and delivered to the British Armed Forces so that they could replace the Bishops, which weren't very good. They were quite slow. They didn't have very good range, and we're trying to get that AT2. The church tower is in the way. We fire around him and we splash him just behind. 33 hit points, but we lose the Excelsior. Trying to get shots on that AT2, it's difficult. He's hugging that building. He knows he's Arty safe as long as he stays next to the building. We're looking for another target. No, that target's out of range. We've got a platinum reticule. There's the AT2 again, and he's killed, taken out by the 25 TP. Okay, now we have to move. All the targets, all the enemy targets are out of range. And we've just lost the 25 TP. He was killed by the enemy gorilla. So yes, the wargaming actually made this a bit of an anomaly because although the Bishop is at Tier 5, it is in fact actually the Sexton that should really be technically at Tier 5, whilst the Bishop is at Tier 3. Okay, going for the T-34S, which is low hit points. No, decided to go for the Stug again, the more dangerous of the two. Round out. No, just got the ground. Got plenty of ammo. The Bishop carries 32 rounds. Trying to get that Stug. There he is. Just took a big chunk out of our Churchill. But we took a big chunk out of him and finished his game. 60 hit points. There are only 4 enemies left. Like, oh, we just lost our archer. As in kin with most city maps, buildings can be a bit of a problem when it comes to shooting an enemy that's some distance away. Now we've got the gorilla just within range, and so's that KV-1. That KV-1 looks to be an AFK. Round out. Direct hit. Just adjusting the shot, getting ready to shoot again. Reloaded, round out straight away. And another direct hit. Yes, it's definitely an AFK. And we're just going to farm the hit points off him. Round out again. And another direct hit. Round out. Another. Unfortunately, we just lost the Churchill to the gorilla. He shotgunned our Churchill with a 15cm round. Firing another round at the KV-1 should... Oh, it fell to one side. Need to keep our aim steady. Round out. No, he's moved. That shell fell exactly where the KV-1 was, but he's definitely moved. Okay, now one good thing that the Bishop is good at doing is shotgunning. It's got a very tough hull. The hull is a Valentine tank. Okay, there's the gorilla. And we're aiming. And takes out the gorilla just like that. That's how good it is. And there's the M41. Dialing in. Reloading. Round out. Kill shot. 230 hit points. 1 shot kill. And we've now killed 2 Artys. Now there were only 2 Artys in the game, so that means that's a counter battery. Now there's only the there's the T67 and the KV-1. I'm going to have to go shotgun on T67. He does that very beautifully. Ohforfoxache handled the Bishop like a king. He really knows how to play it properly. And you can see there, he just wiped out that T67. Came around the corner, fired one into Ohforfoxache for 119 hit points. Which is quite a lot, really. Just look at the wreckage here. It's huge. But we're now hunting down that KV-1. He's got to be somewhere around here. The view range on the Bishop is 250 meters. That's slightly less than the what you'll find on the KV-1. Now the Stugs decided to cap instead, to let the KV-1 come to him. Here's the KV-1. He's within range. Oh my god, he's looking in this direction. We take 1 HE round from the KV-1 and put one into him for 100, but we've taken rounds. Now I'm wondering actually, was that the standard 122mm or the 57mm with HE? Fires one in for 205, but we're side scraping around the corner with an Arty. We should be able to get him with the next shot if he moves forward. Oh! The Stug 3G gets the kill. Wow, that was close. Took a lot of damage there. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for that one. It's an ace tank for Ohforfoxache in the Bishop. And what a way to end the battle. He got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 16. A fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. A high caliber for dealing the most damage in the battle. A Stark's medal for killing at least 2 enemies. Surviving the battle, having lost 2/3 of your hit points to at least 2 shots from the enemy. And he certainly earned all that. And also a counter battery fire medal for taking out both of the enemy Arty, and that was quite amazing, that ending. It was almost like he was frozen. He didn't move when the KV-1 saw him, and the KV-1 just turned his turret straight towards Ohforfoxache and of course was lining him up. But I suspect that KV-1 driver who entered the game very late was actually using HE rounds from a 57mm, not your standard 122mm gun, because if it was 122mm, it probably would have taken out Ohforfoxache with one round. But if he fired the 57mm, obviously he's got a fast fire rate, but much lower HE shells, so much lower damage on his shells. So let's have a look at team score. Highest damage, 1,655 hit points of damage in that game. Next highest score was 25 TP, got 1,316. Then you have to look to the T67 on the enemy team, who managed to get 977. If you look at kills, it was definitely Ohforfoxache who managed to get the highest amount on his team, 4 kills. The Gorilla on the enemy team managed to get 4, but of course he fell to Ohforfoxache. And the next high scorer was the M41 HMC, he managed to get 3. And also died to Ohforfoxache. And when it came to base XP, it was definitely Ohforfoxache who managed to get the highest amount. He got 931. Then came 25 TP with 779 and the T34 with 557. So let's have a look at detail report. When he fired 22 shots, got 14 direct hits, 13 penetration, splash on 5. Did damage of 1,655 hit points, of which 988 were at more than 300 meters. He received 5 hits from the enemy. All of them were penetrations, and most of them were HE rounds, except of course that one that came from the T67, which did quite a lot of damage into him. He damaged 8 enemy vehicles, killed 4 of them, and did damage assistance of only 1 hit point. On the premium count, he actually earned 34,881 credits. After repair and ammunition resupply, he took home 27,916 credits. He earned 1,397 XP, times 5 for the first victory of the day, took home 6,985 experience points altogether. And he calls this bashing with the bishop. Yeah, well, bashing the bishop normally means something else, but in this battle it meant that he was really bashing the enemy hard. And the bishop is a great little arty. You can wander around the place blowing the enemy to pieces, and especially with that beautiful trajectory, the way the shells almost go straight up and come straight down on top of the enemy tanks. And if you can get the shells just right, you can wipe out an enemy tank at some distance away by putting the shell into the cockpit of the vehicle and just blowing them to pieces. So it can be great fun. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel. And hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.